I had some success in Asia from 2002 to when I went back to Canada in 2009, is it? 10, somewhere around there, because I went in a few times. So I've been teaching and lecturing, and went and I did my master's, and I was working towards a PhD that focused on cognitive language development, but in my own, everybody has to have an angle of what they're going to do with it. So mine was based on trying to understand what was happening to me, and I'll explain what was happening to me. I traveled and I lived in all these countries, and I was gone from Canada for about almost 10 years, on and off. What was happening was, and this is something that, everybody thought it was a gift. Okay, like you get an extrasensory perception, etc. Except in my case, it turned out to be synesthesia. So synesthesia is the ability when the brain has been injured, you can get aphasia, which I didn't get, but I got the synesthesia. So the synesthesia gave me, I could see sound, there would be images, or if you were speaking in another tongue, be it Arabic or Korean or Japanese or Chinese, whatever language, and I was just there and listening to you, I would suddenly get a flood of images, and I would suddenly start to respond to you about the situation and whatever you're talking about. So they always wanted to know why I could speak, these languages, and I said, oh, I knew them. I said, no, I don't know it. I just see images. Anyway, so I knew I had this thing happening. So it created some confusion in how I discuss stuff, because people are not so attenuated to this kind of conversation where, you're saying something in one language and I'm picking it up another and translated it. Even the signs in China and in Korea and Japan they would flip from their language to English, and I'm going, oh, this is a school for special effects. Anyway, so here is leptospirosis. Now, when we go into this document, this is a document that deals with fraud. So fraud in Malaysia is every day, everywhere, every organization. It doesn't matter. You have to be very, very careful. These people are very tricky. They lie like they breathe. There is no truth. They just make sounds and tell you whatever they want to tell you. And this actually, I've proven that this is not just that the fact they do this to foreigners, they do this to everybody in their society. It's really strange. Like, you have to grow up in a family unit to be able to have the language skills to communicate with that particular family. Because it's so idiosyncratic. And when I first was coming here, because of all this background and studying academics and research, I thought if I have to come here and do nothing but go, I had no real interest in religion except that it was warm. And I wanted to go to Thailand and stay there instead. But at the time I was flying in, Thailand had issues with visas and all kinds of stuff, and I figured, well, now it's been rectified, but back in those days, a year ago, it was still an issue. And then finally I found out at the end of last year that it was actually had opened up. So my whole thing was I'm moving to, I didn't want Malaysia, but it was where I could go for the time being, and then, you got to do these visa runs. So I'm like, okay, well, I was really good in and prospered in Korea. I was I had a lot of opportunities in Hong Kong. So I traveled a ridiculous amount and learned a lot. But this I did not understand. Nobody understands that people are so filthy, so decrepit, unbelievably wild, that they would, and deliberately do this, put dirty bedding, not even just dirty, but virally dirty, that you will become incredible you know, I'm finding it so hard to talk about all this again. Anyway, so yeah, I had that part there. So that was my back in the day. So I've got some of this on my legs and my back and my head in particular, but only on my face, with it like under there, was there, with my eyes, okay, my forehead would get these things, okay. Let me just go down. Okay, so this is actually the picture of the rat shit. That's what within the blanket or the bed or whatever it is. That's a lizard. Okay, so the blanket had 3 of these. I'm talking about a king size bed blanket. Okay, which was beige in the end. I thought it was tweed because of all the infection. But there it is. Il crapa del ratto, the rat crap. One of the most dangerous things you can be exposed to. As you know, rats brought the plague. So this is a Malaysian plague. It's not the bubonic plague. It's a cousin. So it's destructive. Death usually occurs within the 10th month, and I am actually at the 10th month right now. It took me a long time to go through all this. I've been in bed for months now, up and down, and I've told Canada. Now the CHCKL is an absolute disaster. Okay, these are people that you'd never want to meet. They are so corrupt. Anyway, so this is all the story unfolding here. Yada yada yada. Okay, so I'm explaining what happened. There's the name of the creep that I had rented from. The problem is I never met the man until February the 12th. Okay, I was told he was in the area or in the building or whatever. It's a huge building. It's like a university city kind of thing, you know. So it's got maybe what? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16 buildings, 16 massive apartment condos, and 8 floors, right? And there are, you know, considering the amount of deterioration, these places would have been quite lovely, and you know, but oh God, I'm going off topic. Anyway, so on February the 12th, I've been dealing with the agent, Mr. DeJulie, who turned out to be another creep. But anyway, so on February the 12th, 2017, I was woken up by someone banging on my door, and his name is Goh, G-O-H. His first name is Jack. They had a Chinese name, and I have it listed somewhere else in the document. Anyway, so this is my first introduction to this man. I don't know him from Adam. He walks. I get to the door, and he's out there, and he starts to scream at me, and I was, you know, like, oh my God, what the hell is this crap that's going on? So he told me some nonsense about the agent and not paying and all kinds of stuff. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about, because I know that I paid the agent, and I know he paid him. And the agent also expressed that this man could not be trusted, and that he wanted me to leave that environment as soon as possible, which was the place. And I had looked at him. When I first walked into that place, I was so absolutely shocked that he would actually consider putting me in such a decrepit back place. I have videos of it too. It is frightening. Anyway, so I just said, he said, but you'll be leaving soon, don't worry about it. And I said, well, I looked around the room and I said, look, you know what, okay. He says, you got the beach out there, you can go swim, you can do everything you want, yada yada. I said, okay, fine. But the look on his face was like, dude, don't bother with me, you know. If you want to find a place for yourself, you should have come and found it yourself, yada yada. I can't help with that. And I'm like, okay, I've had enough. So anyway, this man, he's a 5'6" kind of dude, Chinese. If you know what Golem looks like, he looked like Golem exactly. So he was that thin, that disheveled, bulging eyes, frothing, red, you know, screaming. And when he walked, he looked like he was crawling. It was so bizarre. He's wheeling this chain and swinging it at me and threatening all kinds of crap. And then he always would scream, "I'm gonna kill you! I'm gonna kill you!" And I'm like, "What's going on?" And so, shocked, frightened, didn't understand, very ill. So I found out that we didn't owe him any money, but they were making me pay more. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. I can't decide to pay or not pay. Well, if you don't pay, you leave. And I said, what are you talking about? I've paid for an extra month ahead of time. So whatever was going on in his crazy brain, which turned out to be crazy brain, he was just gone. Like, you know, turns out in the end that he is a severe alcoholic, and that he's just a brother, cousin to somebody who owned the apartment, and they hired him to be the caretaker. But because he's always drunk and he's always in a state of just, you would not. I mean, he's so scary that you would. If you saw him, you would, you know, run away from him or hide your face or whatever it is. So suddenly I'm dealing with this madman, and I am so sick. And we told him about the betting when it happened. I told the agent told him, and he says, yes, it can be dangerous. It's going to be. I'll have to talk to my caretakers, and maybe they will come and fix it. Guess what? He was the person that did this, and the building was infested with rats, lizards, monkeys. I have videos of going through the apartment and finding so much drama that it's unbelievable. Anyway, that's all I'm here. Okay, I gotta show you the video. Okay. So by now you understand that I've gotten very ill. I talked to Canada. I cannot do anything because I'm so sick. I'm struggling to find a way out of this. And so in discussing it, I spoke to what is his name again? I refer to him as L'Homme, the man, because he was so ridiculous in my situation. And he did the first. I can't tell the story. It's terrible. Anyway, very sick and dying. Okay, that's it to know. Cannot get out. Cannot all from because they have a lot of criminal actions on it. Okay, so I have been living with this now this is the 10th month, okay? So I was doing a lot of meditation and prayer because I didn't know what else to do, and back in October, or maybe even September, my meditations would stop, and I was saying, you've got to do something else, you've got to reach people, you have to you've got to find some powerful people to advocate for you. And but I had no idea. I mean, I'd gone through, first of all, Canada. I'd gone, when I realized that the CHC, the KL embassy or High Commission was so bad that I could not, they were the nastiest people in the entire world, because what they did when I talked to them was they laughed. Then they sent me on a wild goose chase to get the information for them which they didn't need, or I don't really know what happened because I actually didn't speak to them directly afterwards. Except when I found out what they had done, I was very upset and wrote a very terse document, telling them, it was unacceptable, yada, 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 and, the things that you would do when you find out that you're in a dangerous situation, and a government which provides a lifeline was acting strange, okay? So, yeah, that's a dude, Marc-Olivier Jean. This is the guy to stay away from. He's very dangerous. These people are, I can't believe it. Here is in case of death to contact Carlos Evaristo. That's his address and his phone number. That's serious. I mean, I cannot do this anymore. Let me get some pictures. These are my kids, by the way. come to my okay. So that is my intestines, and this is what happened based upon the initial infection that I was born with, created a weakness. So I am really saying that I have a pre-existing condition that I only learned about when I turned 40. And I learned about it when I was actually in hospital because I was so ill, nobody knew what to do either. Anyway, so this is when I first got infected, what happened, okay? Nasty. So it very much looks like the plague, but it was some of them were big, some of them were small. This is it changing its, it was all over my back, okay? It is extremely itchy. It is it's everywhere. I had about 300 of these things over my body, alright? Yeah, my sense of humor. I'm actually showing, this is the treatment that I have to do to the skin to help it heal proper. I have to bathe in vinegar on the deck outside, and I have to make some mustard oil and turmeric to create a fairly thick, as you can see, fairly thick lotion, if you will, that dried up. But when it dried, it actually takes away the marks, the scarring, the inflammation, the infection. They all drop dramatically. Like if I do this for 3 days, I won't have any problems for another week or so. But anyway, it's been hit and miss because I don't really know what I'm dealing with. Okay, so yeah, so there it is, all of my legs. Okay, there's my legs reacting to Toronto, you know, burning off, peeling off. Another sign of the effects of the pre-existing condition. Okay, so, and this is part of the danger that I'm dealing with. Okay, the original infection that I was born with was activated by aspects of my life that I will have to explain because I no longer have a family because of all this shit. Anyway, so let me just